African Americans purchased the homes, many of which were, headed towards dilapidated state. They had some things that needed to be done. And so an African American person inherits it, so to speak, meaning purchases it, and then next thing you know, they don't have the funds to be able to fix up the property, right? Do what wasn't done because it was just that rush kind of transaction and changing of hands. And so then you wind up having this aged community of buildings that are in a state, less than desirable state, and it looks like the African Americans, they don't know how to keep up property, so I don't want to live next to them and don't let them in our neighborhood, because once they do, the neighborhood's going down.
The Jewish community when I was talking to them, I did notice that, I'm like, there's a lot of there's that blaming oneself for leaving the community, and I get that. And that's why I really wanted to work hard to show that, yes, there was fear instilled into this community. There were pressures put into this community. Ways of life that were evident in the 40s and 50s were not possible once the train tracks were gone and other things. And there's a lot of pressure. I don't blame anybody for doing what they did. Oh, yeah.
Relationships need to be repaired. The history can't be changed. It needs to be confronted and dealt with. And some of it is about, the movement of national and state level for reparations and pushing for that. But we understand it much more broadly than that in terms of events like this and confronting the history. And part of reparations, comes to the UN statement, Declaration on Reparations, is a promise of non-repeat. So it involves looking at the systems that are embedded in the way the world is going on that are repeating.
Talk about what happened between 1968 and 1972 and how this community, which was then 2/3 plus white, and the whites were probably 3/4 Jewish and 1/4 Irish Catholic, and how that community by 1972 was about 80% African American, and how that happened in 40 years. The consequences to the Jewish community and the consequences to the African American community, because we're going to talk about a whole set of scandals and hardships that were.
Or being a constituent of Julius Ansel. He also once got a hold of a hippopotamus and paraded it from here down Blue Hill Avenue to the Franklin Park Zoo. So he was a character. The Norman Levine Square, people may be familiar, these are called hero squares. They're named after a deceased veteran who died in combat during one of the world wars, and they're usually put up, in the neighborhood.